All right, I'm showing 6:30. Why don't we get started? It's good to see everyone. I know everybody's super busy, and we greatly appreciate you being on this Zoom tonight. If you don't know who I am, I'm David Truitt, Superintendent for West ISD. I've had the pleasure of serving in this role since January of 2015. My wife's a teacher, and I have two sons. Brian, who's my youngest, who's a freshman at West High School, and I have a junior at Baylor named Connor, who graduated from West High School back in 2019. So we are huge Trojan fans, love West, and I believe I have the best job in the world. So I want to welcome everybody tonight. St. Mary's families, we're thrilled you're joining us. We consider you a partner school, and we're thrilled that you're considering West High School for your kids' education for grades 9 through 12. We've been talking about doing this event for many years because we believe you guys might have some specific questions that our other parents that have been with us as elementary age kids and middle school age kids that we could answer tonight. And maybe if we don't know the answer, we'll research it and get back with you. We just wanted you to be comfortable with this transition period and meet some of us up front, get course selection going, and so you'll feel really good about the decision and where you're heading into the summer and in the next August when we start school. So thanks again for joining us. I'm going to do some brief introductions here, and then we're going to kick off the meeting. We think it'll take about 30 to 35 minutes. Definitely want you to throw questions into the chat at the bottom. Definitely we'll have some Q&A at the end where we can dialogue. And I want you to know up front, we'll meet you anytime, anywhere to answer any question. You'll learn that we're readily available and willing to do whatever we can to help. And that's what tonight's about. First, I'm going to introduce Sharon Lavinka. If you'll wave Sharon, she's the counselor at the high school and is going to be a key component to your transition period. She's even going to go to St. Mary's to meet with your kiddos. And I know this about Sharon, she'll meet with any of y'all, especially at places like Ready Brew, McDonald's, wherever she can get a coffee out of you so you can get your questions answered. I'm kidding, of course, but Sharon, she'll meet with you anytime and anywhere. I'm going to move over to Michelle Scott, who I asked to be on here tonight. She's the associate principal at West High School. I thought you guys would like to hear where your kids will be heading in advanced coursework, specifically advanced placement and dual credit. And so I asked her to be on tonight to share how all that works at West High School, especially the part where we pay for it so it's free to you on the tuition side of things. Whoop, whoop. And then also we've got the legendary David Woodard, our athletic director, head football coach. We know you'll have questions about camps and strength and conditioning and how all it works with athletics and things. And so I asked him to be on here tonight to help with that as well. Our principal, Chuck Clander, cannot be on tonight. I mean, listen to this list of activities today. We had career day at the high school. We got powerlifting regionals going on. We had softball tournament, baseball tournament, track lift. We had band, solo and ensemble contest. We had one act play practice. You name it, it was happening today. And so we're kind of scattered, but you got the four of us, and we believe with our brain power, we can answer your questions. So again, I'm thrilled you're here tonight. How the agenda will work for this evening, it's really going to be the Sharon Lavinka show, but I'm going to let Coach Woodard go first so he can get to some of those athletic events I've mentioned. And then Ms. Scott will go and we'll wrap up again with Q&A. If I see anything thrown into the chat box at the bottom, we'll answer it as we go. We'll share our screen a lot, and I want to show you where some things are on our website. And I thought I'd kick off before Coach Woodard shares his wisdom with us. I just want you to know about some new things for next school year that we've been working on. I've already mentioned that the district is going to pay for all of the core tuition fees for McLennan Community College's dual credit, which is huge. Also, the district will be paying for all the advanced placement tests for your kiddos as they go through our AP program. We're adding a 9 through 12 choir program. We're adding a 9 through 12 sports medicine program. I know Sharon's going to hit on that more. We're adding a new tennis program. Actually, we're bringing it back. And I can proudly say that Ms. Scott here in the Zoom used to be the coach. So we might have to pull her out of retirement and see if her backhand is still strong. But we're excited about having that program back for our kids. I probably had 3 kids this week just ask me about the tennis program. So I've joked with Coach Woodard, it's going to be bigger than our football program. But we have amazing things happening. The opening of our new elementary. We're going to have a new ag barn on the property we bought along Jerry Moshik, so our kids can show animals that live in the city limits. It's going to be kind of an outdoor learning center as well. A lot of neat things happening over there. We just enclosed our batting cages as a project we're completing as well. And so you name it, it's happening in West. So St. Mary's, we're thrilled you're here tonight, and I'm going to let Coach Woodard share so he can get on to his next event, and then Sharon will share all the goodies about course selection. When I transition to Sharon, I'll show you where everything is on our website. So we'll go ahead and let Coach Woodard go. Take it away, Coach.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. Appreciate y'all being on here tonight to be able to talk to us about a couple of things. Like Mr. Truitt said, my name is David Woodard. I'm the athletic director, head football coach here. Proud 1990 graduate of West High School. So been here since 2007 and the AD and head football coach since 2013. So just a couple of things I want to talk about involving our athletic program. The sports that we have in the fall. We have football, volleyball, and cross country. In the winter, we have basketball and powerlifting. And then in the spring, we have baseball, softball, track, golf, and we're bringing back tennis again next year. And so to be involved in those sports, you need to be involved in athletics class. The only exceptions to that are if you only just do cross country, powerlifting, golf, or tennis. You don't necessarily have to be involved in the athletics class or be enrolled in the athletics class. And so but any of the major team sports, if you're going to participate in one of those or try for one of those, you need to make sure that you enroll in the athletics class, and Ms. Levine will make sure that she helps you get care of that. The biggest thing is we work really hard to try to keep all the information on our website. I've updated some of it here in the last few days. Updated some of it today before we had this Zoom, and so. If you go to westisd.net and you click on West High School, there's an athletics tab, and every sport is listed under the athletics tab. But probably one of the most important tabs under there is the athletics forms tab, and it's where all of our camps are listed, all of our UIL required paperwork is listed, the physical information, the medical history, all of those required forms that you have to fill out before you are allowed to participate. Those are listed on there. And so the main forms that are listed on there right now under the UIL participation forms is really just the physical and a couple of our local forms. The rest of the forms we're going to an online format, so you'll be able to electronically sign those. They'll be uploaded straight to your student's account. Hopefully that's ready to go as we get moving more through the summer. And so looking forward to that. But the physical form and the medical history, which is the first one listed right there, that one is the one that has to be filled out. The physical form by your doctor, and the medical history form by the parents. And it is one that's required to be done by hand and turned into us, and then we'll scan it and upload it into your into the student's document. So those are there. The other big form, the other big tab on that is our camp forms. I don't think there's anything on there right now. 22 summer camp information will be available soon. Every major sport, football, volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, will have camps this summer. We have our huge summer conditioning camp that runs through the summer, so it'll be listed on there. And if you periodically check that, page right there, we'll update that, and we'll also make sure that we send forms over to St. Mary's for those to get passed out to each and every one of you. We are looking at this year having a night of where we do physicals at our West High School campus. Southwest Sports Medicine, they have 7 or 8, 9 doctors that come in with their nurse practitioners and put you through everything. And so for a small fee, they'll do the physicals for us on our campus, which really makes it easy, and more information on that will come out shortly as well. If you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me. My contact information is on the website. My email, dwoodard@westisd.net, is probably the best way to contact me because, like Mr. Truitt said, this is an extremely busy time of year for us to be with everything that we have going on, and I'm not in my office very much. So email is the best time, but if you do need to call my office, that number is 254-981-2104. And so I'll make sure I get that added to our website as well, so you can see that. And so feel free, like Mr. Truitt said, we're more than welcome to meet up anytime. If you want to come look at our facilities, sit down and talk about more of exactly what a day-to-day plan of our athletic period and our sports seasons look like, we'll be more than welcome to sit down and visit with you. Just feel free to email, call us, and we'll set up a time and go through all that. So really looking forward to seeing each and every one of you on our campus, seeing your children, and being able to work really hard to make sure that their experience at West High School is a blessed and rewarding experience. So looking forward to it. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions, and go Trojans.
Woodard's being humble about some of our success this year. Every one of our teams has advanced to the playoffs, and for those of you that have been in our community a while, that's a staple of our athletic program. I really believe we have one of the strongest programs in the state. Right now, we're listed in the top 25 for the UIL Cup. We're Lone Star Cup. Took me a minute to think of what it was called. And annually, we're in the running as one of the top programs around. So a lot to be proud of. Today, our Lady Trojan softball team swept Killeen and Lakeview out of San Angelo. So we're having an outstanding season already in baseball and softball as well. So a lot to be proud of there. So thank you, Coach Woodard, for sharing that information. I also wanted to share this was our first year to have a full-time trainer on our staff. It's very unique for a Class 3A school to have a trainer that's with us all day, every day. We used to have a partnership with Baylor that was just for about 15 hours a week or so, and now we've got our own that's on staff. And so if your kids ever have training needs or an ache, a sprain, we've got someone on staff for all events all day. And Sharon's going to share how he's even going to offer the sports medicine program at West High School starting next year. I said that I would share the screen that lets you see where all of our handouts are for tonight. And so I'm going to pull the website back up here real fast, and I'll put Sharon back on. I see Erica's on our Zoom, so thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you so much. Erica sent home the gold course selection sheet. If you go to our main website, parents, if you ever need to find something under schools, I added this new website. One of my duties is I'm the webmaster too, and right here it says course selection for next year. And if you click here, you can see we've started dropping on this page every single handout that we're talking about during course selection time with our families. And for you guys tonight, you can see two really important handouts. We've got the course sequence handout here under West High School. And then we have the grade 9 course selection sheet, which is what you were given. And then even if you want to look ahead to see where your kids are going on their journey as a Trojan or Lady Trojan, it's all listed here through their senior year. A very important handout on class rank and GPA and what counts per our board policy. And then all kinds of things that Ms. Scott will share tonight about advanced coursework as they go through their years at West High. And so we're going to keep dropping handouts and PowerPoints and videos on this site. If you go to our West ISD YouTube channel, I drop all of our videos onto this page, and you can even see the course selection meeting from 2 weeks ago, or it was just last week, excuse me, listed right here. The first video, I'm actually recording tonight's for any St. Mary's parent that couldn't make it, and I'll drop it on this side as well. If you just want to ever see what's going on in West, I think you'd be surprised at how much material we have saved and videos and such on this site. A lot of information about the things that are happening in our district, including district planning, strategic planning, school health advisory, safety and security. All the videos from our meetings are saved to this YouTube site. So if you ever want to see what we're working on and what we're talking about, this is a great place to go to spend some time. All right, I'm going to go back to our main site and get it off of the stop share and let Sharon take over with great things about 9th grade. Take it away, Sharon.
And get myself off mute, I'm sorry. So I did take over the course selection sheets. Hopefully you guys got them. If not, you can download them. I think Katie told me when I dropped them off that she was also going to email them out to you guys. So But one of the main documents that we probably want you to make note of is just the course sequence document, because it's not an end all to be all, but it is kind of a guide that will help you kind of look at a 4-year plan for your student. Mr. Tritt, you want to pull that up for me? So one of the big things I think that will be a determining factor, and what I'd like to do, I generally go to St. Mary's, and Ms. Sammons pulls all of those students who we think might be coming to West, and I meet with them. Last year, I loved how that worked out, because it was just me and the students in the room, and we were able to have kind of a round table discussion and answer their questions, very similar to what I do with our West middle school students. And so it's always interesting to me, the questions they come up with, but they're good questions. So this is the course selection sheet for our 9th grade students. And so you'll see for the core subject areas, the main choices they have are either a regular class in the core areas or an advanced class. And so one of the things that I think it's important for you guys to know up front is, and it's kind of under that GPA, so you don't have to necessarily take notes on it, but there's a GPA class rank info sheet that we've got. That for the advanced classes, we implemented an advanced course contract a couple of years ago. And so it is an effort to make sure that your student, obviously, if they go along this track, we expect that they're going to be usually a college-bound kiddo. So it's preparing them for that in the big picture. So things like no late work are accepted. And then another biggie is that they must maintain an 80 or above average. If they fall below that, then there's some things in there for the student, the teacher, and the parent to do, such as conferencing, attending tutorials, things like that. If for some reason they aren't able to bring that grade up, then we do possibly look at a course change, because ultimately the goal is that they get the credit at the end. And so at the high school level, we do talk about credits for a high school graduation requirement. The students are expected to achieve 26 credits. And then they have to pass 5 end of course exams. On the weighted versus unweighted courses, we work off of a 6-point scale or 4-point scale. And so those are kind of the biggies when we start talking about that first column of courses. So English language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, and your foreign language, which West offers the Spanish track. And so all of those courses count into your students' GPA. And as I was talking to some 8th graders today, that's what determines that class rank. The other courses matter because you do have to accumulate the 26 credits by the end of your senior year. So it's not that they don't matter. They show up on your transcript. Colleges will see that and stuff like that. So they do matter, but they don't have any implication for your class rank and or GPA. For math, if your student is currently taking Algebra 1, then their choices are geometry or advanced geometry. Algebra 1 is a prereq for any high school math course, so they must get that credit first. And then for science, we're looking at biology or advanced biology. When we start talking about state assessments, the big name, I guess, is STAR. But at the high school level, you'll hear teachers, and your students are going to hear teachers talk about an EOC, which stands for end of course exams, and it's based on the coursework that they're taking. There are 5 end of course exams that are attached to a graduation requirement. So English 1, Algebra 1, and biology are all included in that. When they get to be a sophomore, English 2 is a tested area, and then as a junior, their U.S. history is the last test. If your student earned credit in Algebra 1 in 8th grade at the private school, they are exempt from taking that end of course exam at the high school level. And so they would only be responsible for 4 of those tests. Moving through the social studies, again, advanced world geography or world geography. I generally tell students that if they're not sure about advanced courses, but they may want to try something, and hopefully everybody believes me when I say this, but I feel like if your student's a good student, the world geography is a good place to start your advanced coursework. You know, English and math both are kind of a skill-based course. And so those are maybe a little more tough if they don't feel like that's a subject that they generally excel in. But if your student overall is what I would quote unquote call good student, they do the things that they're supposed to do, they work hard, they turn assignments in on time, that sort of thing, then the advanced world geography is a good start just to kind of tiptoe in some advanced coursework. I know with St. Mary's, some of your students, if not all, have already taken Spanish 1. The 2 years of foreign language are required, so Spanish 1 or Spanish 2. We also offer Spanish 3 as an advanced course elective. So they are able to take that. That does also fall on the weighted 6-point scale. Moving kind of into that middle column, the students are required by the state to get at least 1 PE credit. They can get that actually by taking PE or athletics, or if they're interested in band, they have to commit to 2 years because it's the marching season in the fall that actually gets them the PE credit. If they go that route, it actually opens up an extra slot in their schedule because it's meeting 2 requirements. For your fine arts, they have to have at least 1 throughout their high school career. So I generally encourage students to go ahead and take that freshman year. If they put it off, which they can, but if they put it off, then it is more likely that they will be an upperclassman in a course that's more freshman. And so a lot of students don't really want to do that, but it's definitely their decision. So under fine arts, we've got marching band, which is the band that you're going to see on Friday nights at the football game, but then also in the spring, they do concert season. And then jazz ensemble, you do have to be in marching band in order to be in the jazz ensemble band, and you do need to get band director permission for that. We are going to offer choir and theater arts, and then art 1. Floral design, I would say, is more of your crafting art, for lack of a better way of saying it, but it's more hands-on, that sort of thing. If your student is needing an ag course, this one does meet that requirement. So if they're planning to show animals and things like that, but their business track is somewhere, or their career track is somewhere else, then floral design is a good way to get their ag requirement in. And then, of course, music appreciation. Just as it sounds, it's a survey of music. We do encourage, and the state encourages, every student to take at least 1 career tech ed course. And so this we try to relate most closely to what they think that they're interested in doing in the future. And you may be saying to yourself, my student hasn't even entered high school, and you want them to know what they want to do after high school. But that is the task that the state has put before us. And what we know is we need to be talking to our students now about where they're headed. We don't want them to be entering senior year and still have no idea where they're headed. So these classes do help kind of create a coherent sequence of electives that do then influence their choice of endorsement, which is all the way over to the far right column. So going down that career tech, the CTE courses, the first one, Principles of Biomedical Sciences. Usually if there's a kiddo who is interested in something medical field related, or what I say first responders, so even police academy, something with EMT or firefighter, that sort of thing, definitely encourage them to go the biomedical sciences route. The second one, Business Information Management 1. You'll hear the term BIM for short as the acronym. And so that one, yes, obviously, if a student's saying they want to go into accounting or finance, something business related, marketing, those sort of things, that's the track for them. However, if a student tells me that they're not sure of what they want to do, I always encourage them to go this route first, because that course does give them just a real good basic, just not computer knowledge that's going to be helpful in all of your other courses and also in some of your courses at the college level. The Intro to Engineering Design, obviously our engineers would take this class. Sometimes students don't realize what engineering really is. They've heard of it, they've heard people talk about it, but they really don't know what it is. I would tell students, for the most part, it is very science and math based, but that I don't say that to scare them off. It is something that they would need to take this intro course, because that's where they learn the software for the engineering program. Computer science. Sometimes students see this and they think, oh, I want game design. This is the place for me. This isn't where they play games, but they're actually writing computer programming. One of the courses in this sequence is also cybersecurity. So if a student's interested in something down that track, we would suggest that. And the last one is Principles of Ag. We've got two different tracks under the Ag umbrella. One is the mechanics route, more of the shop classes. Those are with Mr. Muir. So ag mechanics, ag structures, working on big machinery, small machinery, doing welding, getting that welding certificate, those sort of things, very hands-on. The other track after this principles class would be the greenhouse horticulture track. So those are with Miss Pushowski, the old Miss Muir. But those are, they do go out to the greenhouse. They start talking about, how to grow the plants, that sort of thing. I would say it's a little bit more classroom based probably than Mr. Muir's classes. I would say that they probably go out to the shop more than they go out to the greenhouse, if I had to kind of put a difference in the two. The other two that don't really have a full track, but we could find a place for them. The new class, which Mr. Truitt talked about, was the sports medicine track. Coach Rimney, I call him Coach, I don't know. He's down in the athletic department, but he is going to be teaching this sports medicine program for us. It is a course that any grade level can take. It will be one where they investigate injuries in addition to how to rehab those injuries. The students are not necessarily required outside time with sports teams, but that will be available to them if, let's say, they wanted to be an athletic trainer in the future or something along those lines. So we're really excited about that new addition. I had some students today asking me, well, I might want to do something in the medical field, but the sports medicine also looks interesting. Which way should I go? And so in that particular instance, I would say try the sports medicine class as a freshman and then take the principles of biomed as a sophomore. There are 3 other courses in that biomed track. So you could technically get all 4 in your 4 years of high school done. The benefit of doing the sports medicine as a freshman is if you are interested being on the sidelines with the athletic trainer, learning all of the kind of the backside of things, you could do that because you've had that as a freshman. So you could do that technically for 3 years in high school. The other course is the printing and imaging technology. And that is a course where they really learn the Photoshop software. So a student who might be interested in being a part of the yearbook in high school, or even a bigger picture than that, if they're looking at something like in business marketing, this is a good class kind of to see if that's something that they really want to pursue down the road or not. What I plan to do, I know that's a lot of information, but what I plan to do, don't worry about filling in anything necessarily in the far right column. My goal is to actually meet one-on-one with you and your student if possible. And depending on what we choose in the first two columns will determine their endorsement. Most West High School students end up with more than one endorsement. Almost all of them get a multidisciplinary. That just means that they've taken the 4 core classes over 4 years. And then depending on what their other interests are, will determine what other endorsement they get. It's okay if they only get one, but a lot of our students get more than one just because we really work hard to try to get, we kind of pull it out of them, you know, to figure out what it is that they want to do life after West High School. The alternate electives, I do encourage them to go ahead and put some alternate choices there. And what you'd be really looking at is, let's say, the fine arts possibly, or your career in technology, or one of those other options. Obviously, when it comes to the cores and the physical, the PE credit, the physical education piece, we're going to make those work. And we do our best to make the others work. It just kind of depends sometimes if there's, you know, if your student is really, really interested in pursuing something in the fine arts, and maybe they want to be in band and theater because they like the acting piece, then it may be that we're kind of shuffling a little bit to make sure we meet all the requirements, but also get them what they want and support their career interests. On the back of the golden sheet that I sent home with them, there's also some questions. Mr. Truitt, I don't think we've got that one. I don't think I sent it over to you, but it basically kind of asks what their goals are as far as education, what they think they're going to be doing after West High School. I like to get just a preview of what they know about college. So I ask them to list their top 4 colleges. Sometimes they have no idea, but that's how we start to just kind of probe them to start investigating. And then another is their program of study. And I wouldn't say they're trick questions, but sometimes they are a little bit tricky. You know, our students don't necessarily know the difference in what requires a licensure versus a certificate versus an associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. So that back page is just to prompt those conversations. And none of them are wrong answers. Today we had our career day, and one of the speakers was like, you know what, you can make a career out of whatever it is that you are passionate about. And I really think that that's where the end goal is. And so in the fall, we do a college day. And so for all 4 years, your students will be able to, on our campus, visit with different college recruiters, see different options. And then in the spring, we bring on site different, some representatives from different fields. So they go into the classroom and just to have some one-on-one conversations with people who are actually in the field. And they get to learn a little bit about their background and how they got to where they are. So those are a couple of opportunities that go along with kind of these spring activities with the course selection sheets. And I think that's all, unless somebody's got some questions for me.
While we're looking at the chat, we're going to transition to Ms. Scott. I just wanted to show you parents this high school course sequence handout that Ms. Lavinka spent a lot of time on, really laying out where you can see your kids are heading from their freshman year to their senior year, and how the different pathways build on each other. And she did it for the 4 cores and then each of the elective and CTE areas. And so this is a really worthwhile handout to look over. And I'll get the questions from her and I'll post that as well. That class rank and GPA handout again is right here, where she mentioned which things count. And so you can be tracking that as well. And that's usually a question we get about what's in that GPA class rank that Sharon mentioned several times. Questions for Sharon, drop them in the chat and we'll do get off mute here in a minute. I just really wanted y'all to meet Miss Scott. I bet most of you know her, but wanted you just to hear how the TSI test works and what that is and what it stands for, even the acronym, and when your kids will be getting into our AP and dual credit programs. It's not something you have to worry about as a freshman parent with your student. We've learned that our kids are more successful when we wait later on in their high school career to start those courses, but you'll learn that many of our West High School kids finish with 30, 40 hours of dual credit and have a lot of different things in place. My own son entered Baylor as a sophomore because of all the dual credit that he was able to take at West High School. And I know Miss Scott has a daughter, Lauren, that's doing the same. And I know Sharon and Coach Woodard can share the same things about their kids. So Michelle, why don't you introduce yourself and just share briefly about our advanced course stuff so the families can hear when that all begins.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to start off talking about dual credit. The enrollment guidelines for dual credit are this. Students are eligible to enroll in dual credit courses at West High School their junior year. That's when it starts, the fall of their junior year. And then, of course, also into their senior year. So basically, like right now, we have spring advising and registration going on for fall of 22. Right now, it's hot and heavy. I've been really busy with that. So basically, dual credit just means that the student will receive college credit as well as high school credit for that same course. So for instance, say we have a lot of juniors that will take the History 1301 in the fall, and they will get high school credit as well as college credit for this one course. And then in the spring, the second half of the history is History 1302. And the same thing, they'll get high school and college credit. Mr. Truitt mentioned the TSIA2, or it was the TSI for years, and it had 3 parts. Recently, just about a year ago, it changed to the TSIA2, and that stands for Texas Success Initiative Assessment 2. And so basically it's a college entrance test. So basically in order for a student to take dual credit, they must meet testing requirements. And this TSIA2 is one of the college entrance tests that they can take. All students must be college ready in ELAR to take dual credit courses such as the history, government, English, etc. Students also have an option to be TSI exempt, if you will. And one of the ways of doing that is through the STAR EOC assessments Ms. Labinka mentioned earlier. So for instance, I know your students haven't taken that yet, but their sophomore year in high school, they'll be taking the English 2 EOC. And so if a student scores 4,000 or higher on the English 2 EOC, then they will be considered exempt, if you will, from the TSIA2 ELAR test. So this new TSIA2, it has 2 parts now. It has an ELAR and a math. So, the goal would be, and we have a lot of students that qualify based on their English 2 EOC score, the 4,000 scale score or higher. And so that exempts them from the TSIA ELAR test. So that's just a little bit about that. More information to come as your child progresses through high school. Next, I just want to mention about the enrollment process. So we have that going on right now. MCC this year selected to do an on-demand pre-recorded presentation for parents and students. So basically we sent out the link. Students and parents can watch this presentation in the comfort of their home. It's actually the other one, Mr. Truitt. The one, but it's the first one.
Sorry, this one?
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
right there.
Sorry, yeah.
And so basically, you log in. It's about a 45, 50-minute presentation from the dual credit representatives there at MCC. A lot of information, explains things very, very well. So our parents and students are viewing that, and then at the end of this presentation, they can download a certificate. And so Ms. Labinka and I are having them send that to us either by email or just give us a hard copy of the certificate to verify that they have watched this this presentation and are aware of what all is involved in dual credit, because it it is a step up from your regular coursework. I mean, it's a college level course. And so, you know, they'll be getting, you know, the high school grade, but then this also goes on their college transcript. And so it's very important to take it seriously. And so you know, I feel good that we start this our junior year, because I just think sometimes as freshmen and sophomore, they're still trying to figure out just high school. So I'm glad we started the junior year. So then the next sheet that Mr. Truitt clicked on, that will talk to you about how to do the online enrollment portal. Basically, there's a parent account that the parents set up online, and then of course a student account. And the students actually go into the portal at gateway.mcclennan.edu and request their classes. So it's getting them prepared for, you know, life after West High School. So we're in the process of that right now. Also, Mr. Truitt already mentioned that new for the 22-23 school year, West ISD is paying tuition only for students enrolling in core classes such as the English, math, science, history, and then also for the senior year, the government and economics. So basically just a little breakdown on the cost for a dual credit class at MCC. It's $77 a semester hour. So tuition for a typical 3-hour course is $231. So some of the courses such as math and even the government, even biology, they will have an additional fee, which might be like an online textbook fee or just some sort of lab fee associated. And West ISD will not pay for these additional fees, just the tuition only. So that's pretty much dual credit. Just a quick overview. Again, that begins this junior year for your students. The next topic I want to cover is AP courses and AP exam. That stands for Advanced Placement, and that is through College Board. So if you're not familiar with College Board, I think it'd be great to go ahead and just go to collegeboard.org and look around. They have, that's the, you know, the vendor, if you will, for the SAT, the PSAT, all those college entrance tests. So Advanced Placement is part of College Board, and the courses we offer at West High School start the junior year. So there's AP Language and Composition. And then also another one for the junior year is the AP Art, and that can carry into the senior year. There's AP Calculus for the senior year and AP Biology. And that's what we have at this point in time to offer for advanced placement. And so then students that sign up to take these advanced placement courses will be required to take the AP exam in the spring semester. That is going to be brand new for 22-23 school year. So if a student enrolls in AP Language and Composition their junior year, they will be required to take the AP exam. And some of you may be familiar with that. If they score a 3, mainly a 4, different colleges will accept that for college credit. It just depends on the university, but some will accept 3, most of them accept 4. And we do have some students that will get 3s and 4s, and so it is beneficial. And then the other piece to this that we're real excited about is that West ISD will be paying for the exam. The AP exam for this spring, the cost is $96. And so, yeah, that's going to be a great benefit for the students and families starting next school year to pay for this. This year, the way we're doing it, the students are paying for roughly, we're paying for 50 and then the students pay the rest. So it's about half this year, but then next year it'll be the whole exam. So we're excited to offer that to our students. So that is AP and dual credit. And if you have questions, please put it in the chat.
Ms. Scott, do you mind sharing with the families what we do for PSAT and SAT and how we have our own SAT testing site at West High School?
Yes,
I think
I
that's
sure
a
will.
benefit to them and to know what year we do what.
It is. Okay, so I'll start with, I'll start at the bottom and work up. So we have the PSAT 8-9. And that's where it's a pre-SAT or practice, if you will. That's where 8th graders and 9th graders can pay a fee. And it's usually about $13 to $15 to take the test during the school year at the school. After that, the sophomore and junior year, students can take, it's the PSAT/NMSQT, and that's the National Merit Scholar portion of it. And that actually doesn't kick in until the junior year, but sophomores, we allow them to pay a fee and take it just for practice, because then in the fall of the student's junior year, the school will pay for that PSAT and MSQT test to be administered. There's no charge to the students their junior year in the fall. And then also the junior year in the spring, we offered the SAT school day for those students. So this coming April here, just right around the corner, we'll pay for all juniors to take the SAT school day on campus. Because, you know, back in the day when I took SAT or ACT, we had to sign up for a Saturday and go to MCC or Baylor, and that still is available, the national test dates, but it's just an exciting time where we can actually administer this test at school. And then the senior year, the fall of the senior year, we offer the SAT for students that want to take it as well. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of good things for students to do things on campus rather than have to spend their Saturday taking a test. So thank you.
I received a couple of questions I wanted to share with all of you as well. I know Erica has started a Chromebook program. We've had a Chromebook program, so all of your students will receive a Chromebook in August when they come up for their day to pick up their schedule, and they get to keep it all year long, take it to and from school. We just ask for them to have it charged each day because we use it pretty religiously in our school day through a program called Schoology that they'll receive training on. They also receive their own Gmail account and Gmail or Google account, excuse me, with Gmail. We use Google Drive a lot, and so there'll be some training on that also as well. I was asked about any of you that might be transfers to our school district, meaning you live outside our attendance zone. Eric has been working with me on that, and we wanted to be as smooth of transition as possible. So of course, since you're a St. Mary's student, all of you have automatic admission to West High School, and there is no tuition fee. It's free. And we'll work with Erica on getting what we need to complete that process for enrollment. I'd like to say that enrollment is painless and paper free, but there are some state forms, no matter who you are, as far as in district, out of district, everybody has to fill out. And so we'll make sure we get those few things, and it's all online, and I think it's pretty painless, and some clicks and things, and you can get that taken care of. And there'll be a big push here going into the summer when that happens, and you get online and complete that. And we'll make sure that we give that information to Erica to send out. And with the time we have left, we want to answer any questions we can. Coach Woodard was able to stay on. You don't even have to use the chat feature for this time. If you want to just unclick your mute button between Sharon and Michelle and Coach Woodard and myself, we'll answer anything we can. And again, we're so thankful you guys are on tonight. So what can we answer? How can we make the process go more smoothly for you and your family? Any less angst? What do you have on your minds? What can we do to help? Anybody? I'll try to get this going. I saw some chats, some chat questions. Sharon was asked about when she'd be coming by St. Mary's. And Erica actually got on and said, hey, anytime. Thank you, Erica. And we'll get that scheduled, and we'll make sure all the parents know. I know Erica rocks at communication, so she'll get that to all of you when Sharon's coming over. And again, it doesn't just have to be that. If you need more time with Sharon, you can come by the high school.
As I say, Mr. Truitt, so what I try to generally do for our incoming kiddos, what I'm doing today and tomorrow with our West Middle School kiddos is I'm going into the classroom, I'm talking to them. And then after spring break, I actually schedule one-on-one meetings with the student, the parent, and myself, so that we can answer any questions that might be specific to your kiddo in making sure that their transition is smooth, that they may not want to ask in a big group. So I really would love to be able to do that if at all possible. I know sometimes parents can't get off or something like that. And so of course, that's the one blessing from COVID is we learned how to do Google Meets. So we can do that as well if that meets your schedule a little bit better. But we basically I'm going to try to get the majority of that done in the month of March. It may go into a little bit of April if we have to.
Wonderful. And then we had a question about Spanish 2. If the St. Mary's kiddos had Spanish 1, of course, they'd take Spanish 2 as a freshman. I do think it's worth a conversation with Sharon about GPA, since our Spanish 1 is a part of it. Totally understand you took it as an 8th grader, but I just want to be transparent on our kids will have that in their GPA. So just something to brainstorm with Sharon about how you want to proceed best on that one. Any other chat questions? I guess that was it. What else can we answer? Anybody? All right. Hearing none, no, you don't have to ask just tonight. The phone number for the administration building is 254-981-2000. The number for the high school is 254-981-2050. Just ask for Michelle, Coach Woodard, Sharon, or myself, Mr. Clander. We'll get back with you ASAP. Again, we're just thrilled you're considering being a Trojan and Lady Trojan, and we believe we have a lot to offer you and our wonderful community. So thank you again for being here tonight. Have a good evening.
Can
Oh,
I
yes.
add one more thing?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Sharon. Yeah.
No, that's okay. I just thinking through questions that I've gotten pulled aside and asked, but one of the questions was how they get involved in like some of the summer activities before they're officially registered. And so at the time that I collect their information on those course selection sheets, if they tell me that they're interested in something specific, then I get that information with their permission to those people. So if they are wanting to do summer conditioning, I get those email addresses and contact information over to the coaches so that they're included in anything that they send out. So just make sure that we've had those conversations during those meetings so that I know to pass along that information.
And I'll add thanks to Erica for getting our Dazzler and cheerleader information out, because I know several of you are going to try out for cheerleader and do those things. So we're thrilled to have you on board for those two organizations. And Woodard would probably add cross country and volleyball in particular start early in the summer. And then of course, football a little after that. Marching band does as well. Well before school begins. They move it, that seems like each year, further and further. Like I'm going to pull up our new calendar. And Erica, I hadn't even talked to you about your spring break, so that's still up for debate. I didn't want you to see what I'm pulling up and for you to go, wait a minute, let's talk spring breaks. We always try to align our spring breaks between our two schools. But if you go to right down here to district athletic calendars, this is our current calendar, and also right underneath it, families, you can see the STAR testing calendar for next year as well. That's right here, and all of our athletic calendars and other programs are all on this one site. But if you click on this calendar for next year, whoops, I clicked on this year's, my bad. Here we go, here it is. Coach Woodard, do you mind explaining to the parents how soon there in August the different things will come online? Parents, you can see our first day of school is Wednesday the 17th for next year.
No, I don't mind at all. You know, we have just about all our calendars for the summer done. We'll have those done for sure by the first part of April and get those over there to you. But, you know, volleyball, football, and cross country practice start this year, I believe, on on August 1. And so those days will be here before you know it. And so I think, you know, gives us a couple of weeks before school starts to be able to get some things done. And, you know, on those websites, athletic forums, there's a calendars page, and on each sport website, football, volleyball, and cross country, the coaches will put a practice calendar on there as well. And so there'll be plenty of information out there, but, you know, like we said, if you ever have any questions, you know, feel free to contact us. But as of right now, I think tentative UAL start dates are August 1 for cross country, volleyball, and high school football.
And parents, another thing, our school day begins at 8:00 a.m. With first period. Our building opens at 7:15 a.m. and tutorials every morning from 7:30 to 8:00 a.m. We offer free breakfast for all kids. So you can drop them off and let them eat and get to tutorials and get on the work. So we're glad to have them as close to that 7:15 time as possible. So any last questions? We added a few more things there that I hope were helpful. All right, let me check the chat box one last time. Yeah, you're welcome, Mrs. Yannick, and you bet, Erica. All right, we appreciate you guys for being on tonight. Take care, go Trojans, Lady Trojans. Have a good evening.